Are kind of here for round number 2 with my unified science class. I'm excited to kind of get after this. So last time that we met, we chatted a little bit about where we get our energy from. So what we need to know a little bit more about is our Earth's climate and what are some other things that potentially affect it. So before we dig into that, let's make sure we understand the word climate. So climate sometimes gets paired up a little bit with weather, and they're very similar. So weather is what's happening right now. Think about it kind of like the outfit that you decided to wear today. I hope it was sweatpants because that's definitely what I wore. Now, I want you to think about what you wear day to day is what you choose that day. That's it. But over the course of the year, or maybe you take up your whole closet, you actually have a wardrobe, a style, and your style can change significantly, especially when you're talking about your 14-year-old self compared to your 18-year-old self. And so let's think about weather and climate the same way, where weather is what it is right now, and climate is what are some patterns that develop over a long period of time. So from Wednesday's quick Google search, excuse me, I hope you found out that the shape of our planet orbiting our sun is more of an ellipse, which is an oval. And so this is something that some people don't recognize. Now this is a very dramatized version of orbit. But let's imagine that our sun was right here. It's not at the center, but it's off-centered. It's right here. And then our planet will actually rotate around this thing. What we're going to recognize is that our planet, and again our sun is right here, our planet actually has periods of time throughout the year where it's significantly closer to the sun, and as a result it's going to have a lot more energy given to it. There's also some patterns of the sun, where the sun actually goes through periods where it's just going to give off more energy and less energy, and that cycle is about every 11 years where that kind of changes as well. Another reason that we get some variation, some natural variation, excuse me, in climate is due to the axis and tilt of our Earth. Now, I'm fortunate, I've got some eggs here. So if we think about our Earth a little bit, our Earth doesn't spin like this. Our Earth actually spins like this, and it rotates along kind of this fashion, and it spins this way. Now, there's a lot of debate among the scientific community about why that occurs. There's some people that believes a huge object the size of Mars actually struck the Earth and caused it to tilt. Whatever the reason, we are currently experiencing a tilt, and that tilt changes. So first and foremost, the tilt causes our seasons, right? We get fall, winter, spring, and summer. But the tilt, so how much it actually tilts, actually varies. It wobbles, and there are specific names for that. Why do we get some differences in this tilt? Well, they're mainly due to gravity. So the Earth's actual attraction to other objects like the sun, like the moon that orbits us, and other planets and other celestial objects. What are some other reasons why we get some variation in climate? One of the main ones is actually the composition of our atmosphere. So what makes up the gases in our air has changed from the history of our Earth. So from when the Earth was created until today, and even today, that composition is changing, right? And so you can look at this sweet infographic if you want to. What you'll notice is that oxygen is becoming more prevalent. And there's lots of reasons why that occurs, but that's a whole different subject. Now, the temperature, temperature is a big factor of climate. We recognize that the temperature of our Earth has changed, not consistently, but there's some patterns that have existed where we have low and cool temperatures, and then we actually have warm temperatures, and we kind of cycle through that over and over again. And what we'll notice is that it appears from a small pattern standpoint that we're on the upswing of that. Now, if we kind of rifle back to the composition of our planet's air changing, here's a good example of carbon dioxide, the levels of CO2 in our atmosphere changing from 400,000 years ago until today. And what we'll recognize is that the CO2, which is in kind of the maroon color here, fluctuates. It goes down, it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down, and now it's skyrocketed here. And what follows the composition of our air of our planet, at least in this pattern, is actually the temperature change as well. And we'll see that these two things are very closely linked together. All right, so how do we know all this information? Well, I hope you guys check out the video that I linked on Friday. It talks about ice cores, and it will shed a little bit of light onto that. So I hope you guys learned a little bit more about Earth's climate and how our climate basically changes just a little bit naturally. If we recap it, basically just the normal motion of our Earth around the sun. Also, the tilt of our Earth changes, and that causes a change in our climate. And then we have it changes natural of our composition of our air, and we get temperature that changes as well. And so all those things come together naturally to cause changes in our climate.